Welcome back to the Amplifier, your one-stop shop for all things music yappage. I'm your host, Jason Paul Kim. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Amplifier YouTube channel. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify. I say we, like it's not just me doing all this stuff. I don't know why I said we. I'm trying to make it sound like this big organization. No, it's just me in my bedroom on my computer, making all the graphics, doing all the editing, researching all the topics. It's all just me. I need help, guys. I don't know why I do this to myself. I literally have 3 YouTube channels. Like, that is not something that someone that likes themselves does. Like, why would I'm a masochist? Anyways, it's been a while since we've posted on this channel, mainly because I've been struggling with 2 things. The first thing is I realize it's hard to base a podcast around music news because it's reliant on there being a lot of stuff going on in the industry, which is probably honestly the reason why like big music journals like Billboard or Rolling Stone branch out to just like all pop culture related stuff. Because when it comes to just music, there's really not that much going on. On top of that, the second reason is because I am just not qualified. So even on the days that I tried to film and I had a long list of topics, like 10 plus topics, I get through it in like 9 minutes. I get through it in less minutes than number of topics I had because I was just like, this happened. And yeah, that's cool. I should have studied journalism. If I studied journalism in school, maybe that would have been better. Definitely better than TV production. Because what? No. Anyways, taking that into account, we're going to try and change things around here just a little bit. I have a list of topics we're going to move through. It's mostly like pop culture related stuff, but in the ways that pop culture ties to what's going on in music. Rather than it being like a report, I'm just kind of going to talk. We'll see where it goes. I don't really know. But how has your guys' summer been? You know, the truth is on my main channel, it's mostly just like music reviews and music reactions. And, you know, it's always topical. I'm curious about the more mundane stuff. I want to be able to talk to you guys about the more mundane stuff. I have been adjusting to post-grad life. It's been weird. It's been very weird. Mainly because I'm struggling with like getting the ball rolling with just living like a consistent lifestyle because in my head it's still technically summer vacation. So it still feels like a summer vacation. I'm sure when my brother goes back to school, I'll feel, it's going to be so sad. He's going to go back to school. He's going to leave me. I'm going to be alone. But when he goes back to school, I'm sure I'll find something more consistent, you know, like a consistent daily routine or weekly schedule. For now, it's like one day I'll wake up at 8 and be super motivated and be productive and go to the gym at like 9, come back at 11 and spend the entire day like editing. Or just doing YouTube related stuff, you know, eating healthy. The next day I'll have 3 desserts. I'll wake up at 1 p.m. and I'll doom scroll for like 2 hours and then watch like a movie marathon with my friends or my family. That is not sustainable. Okay, I'm not going to be able to make money doing that. Unless I do like one of those like Netflix things. I see ads on TikTok for like people signing up to be Netflix reviewers and you get paid to just like watch Netflix. Oh, that'd be sick, dude. Oh my God. But unfortunately, that is not what I do. My only source of income right now is creating content. So I'm just going to triple down. I say triple down because I have 3 channels. Okay, it's not double down. It's not 2. I got 3 channels. We got the Amplifier, Jason Popcorn, and Jason Paul Kim. Technically, the only one that has stayed somewhat consistent is Jason Paul Kim, but we're bringing them all back. All right. Gotta grind. Aside from that, though, summer's been nice for me. You know, I've been going to the pool a lot. I have a tan, but it's like a weird tan because I think I use SPF 70 on my face and my neck and then SPF 50 on the rest of my body. So because of that, like when I'm shirtless, there's like not a clear line, but you just look at my neck. Right? You can probably even see it in the camera right now. My arms are kind of dark, right? And then my neck is like paler than my arms. I don't really know if it's picking it up. It's kind of subtle, but it's like enough to like notice. Like every person I've brought it up to has noticed, and I'm kind of embarrassed, but I guess it's better than not having any tan at all. I hate the winter time when I'm like really pale. I just look gross. But the one thing that has been plaguing my summer, guys, all right, we're getting serious right now. Cut all the BS. We're getting serious. The one thing that has basically ruined my summer is the lack of a song of the summer. In regards to the general public, I have my own personal songs that I've been listening to this summer that give me fun summer vibes. Daisies by Justin Bieber is one of them. Don't Tap the Glass. I know that album is like pretty recent, but still so good, such great energy. And other songs, but you know, there's not a general consensus. One for everyone. Last year, it was Espresso. And I'm not saying I want like Espresso the sequel, but like we're already into summer. At this point, it's not going to happen. And it's just kind of sad. You know, I would like a nice soundtrack where it's one of those songs that's like very happy-go-lucky feeling everywhere. Every store you walk into, every restaurant is always going to play it. And then later on in life, when you look back on that summer, that's the song that's playing in your summer montage in your head. That's how I feel about last summer. When I think back all my good memories from last summer, that's the song that's playing. Dum 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 dum. Think about me every night. Oh. And the funny part is, it's really not without lack of trying. We've had a lot of music releases, even just this summer, right? I have a list of all of the pop stars slash popular artists that are dropping music this summer. Most of them who have had singles released earlier this summer are probably just like doing whatever they can, putting up as many shots as possible to try and score, but they've all failed. They've all failed. And it's kind of sad to see, because look at how many albums we got. Okay. Today's August 10th. I'm filming this on August 10th. August 1st was the first Friday, right? As we know, it's all going to be Fridays. That's how music industry works. That's how it works. August 1st was Bite Me by Renee Rapp, which I haven't listened to yet. I know I'm going to get around to it. I'll cut her some slack, though, because the singles that she dropped was not really the summery vibe. You know what I mean? They were a little more punky. August 8th is Greetings from Your Hometown, the Jonas Brothers. I honestly feel like every song the Jonas Brothers release, they're trying to make Song of the Summer, even if they release it in winter. Like, they just all sound like that. And then Lost Americana by MGK, which I don't know anything about that album, but I know Cliche because of TikTok. And that definitely seemed like it was trying to be a Song of the Summer vibe. I don't think it landed because I just don't think the song's good enough. It's not good enough of a song for it to be Song of the Summer. We got standards. We want something fun. We want something light. We got standards, though, okay? Now getting into the releases that are supposed to come up this Friday, we have Wishbone by Conan Gray and Love Is Like by Maroon 5. No one really cares about Maroon 5 anymore, but again, the songs that they make, very song, like you could tell they probably shoot for that. They did release one song with Lisa, which I actually don't remember how it goes at all. But, you know, like a collab, that's definitely trying to be Song of the Summer, right? Come on. And then Conan Gray, I'll cut some slack because I feel like Conan Gray is a little bit, it is pop music, but it's a little bit niche. You know, like I don't think Conan Gray has any like radio bangers, at least not in the same way as like someone like Sabrina Carpenter or even someone like the other people on this, Jonas Brothers, Maroon 5, you know? August 22nd is John Batiste's Big Money in all caps. What a weird, funny album title. And Leve's A Matter of Time. And then, of course, August 29th, Sabrina Carpenter's Man's Best Friend, which is really like the same time that she dropped Short and Sweet last year. Like Short and Sweet last year, I believe, came out August 23rd. And this one's coming out August 29th. So we could have lined it up and had another Song of the Summer. The problem is the only single that she's released for this damn album is Man Child, which is like a cute, like country song-ish. Like it's cool, but it's not the same. It's not Espresso. And maybe the problem is that Espresso is just like the perfect gold standard summer song that no one will ever be able to replicate. So it's just like pointless to try. But there are people trying, and it's just not landing. Seriously though, where are the Sabrina Carpenter singles, guys? Like we need them. She dropped her track list. There's some weird ass like titles there, bro. One of them was like Room Tour or something, like MTV Cribs Tour or something. I don't remember. They were just weird. I'm really curious to see what that album is about. I know she's been receiving some flack ever since she dropped that album title, ever since she dropped that album cover. And you see her on her knees getting tugged on by her hair, like, you know, acting like a dog. You're a man's best friend. I am probably going to try and get a dog collar to wear for my reaction for that because I think it'd be really funny. And I know I'm kind of late to the party because this is old news, right? This is like 2 months ago. But I think sitting on it longer, it kind of is a double standard. Like, listen, yes, she's really heavily leaning into like that sexual role, we'll say. But at least she's not pulling random fans from the crowd and doing humping sex moves on them on stage and making out with them. Chris Brown is doing it all the time, and all the girls in the comments are like, whoa, you're so lucky. Oh, she really played into it. But then when she does this, which is not even physically doing anything, it's just like the imagery of it, it's setting women back. If this is setting women back, then what is Chris Brown doing, bro? But that's the thing with double standards, right? You know, when Chris Brown does it, he's actually bringing men forward. It's dumb. It's stupid. I can't wait to see that album because I really think she's going to lean into that and like purposely try to create a stir out of it. So you can definitely expect a video on that album when it comes out. In general, we've just had so many album releases this summer, you know, more coming up, and I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed, quite frankly, because I'm just trying to plan out my upload schedule for this month, and there's so many albums I wish I could cover, but I just don't have the time for, really. Like, for example, the Leve album looks really interesting to me, and I feel like it's going to be a stylistic change for her, but where can I cram that in, bro? There's no room. There's no room. Like I want to do the Jonas Brothers album too because I feel like it'd be a fun vibe. I Renee Rapp dropped 2 weeks ago. I didn't even touch it yet. We got the Sabrina Carpenter one coming up too, and I'm just trying to start the movies channel, and I'm also trying to keep the podcast going. What am I doing? What am I doing? Why do I do this to myself? I gotta pull myself together, man. This is really not a good look. Anyways, to wrap that segment up, my point in saying all of that was that yeah, our pop music market has been very oversaturated lately. This has been the case for the past few years, I would say. And oversaturated doesn't have to be a bad thing, especially from our perspectives, right? Like as fans, we're just getting more music. And it's like, competition improves the quality, supposedly, right? But it is kind of sad to see that in spite of all these amazing artists dropping, the freaking Ordinary by what's his name? Will? No, not Will. Alex Warren is still number one like all the time. What are we doing, guys? Come on. Yesterday, I finally got around to watching K-pop Demon Hunters. For those of you guys that don't know, it is a trending movie on Netflix right now. It's kind of the Into the Spider-Verse inspired animation, where it's like 3D, but like kind of 2D vibes and like weird. It's like a 3D anime because they do a lot of like the big, like puffy, like wow eyes and like funny animations. But it's all 3D animated. So like visually, it was a really cool movie, especially because of all the demonic kind of fantastical imagery to it. But it's also trending because there's a lot of songs in it. The whole cast basically is just 3 girls that are in a K-pop group, and they also fight demons like on the side as like their side hustle. An interesting topic. I thought the movie was enjoyable, mainly because I feel like anyone would go into that thinking it's going to be like cringe and annoying, and it wasn't. I thought it was like there were a lot of funny jokes. I thought the animation was really cool. I actually thought the lore to it was pretty interesting, and I was pleasantly surprised. The music was okay. There's some pretty good hooks in there. There's also some very generic sounding songs that I did not mess with much at all. The main song, Golden, fire ass hook. I know that Arden Cho is the one that voices the actress, but I don't know who does her like singing voice because it's a different actress or a different person that does her singing voice. But whoever does that, crazy ass pipes, bro. Oh my god. Do I think the movie is worth all the hype that people are giving it? Probably not. I don't really know. Like there's some aspects of it that are really cool. I will say the movie does a really good job at showcasing / representing that whole like idol culture in Korea, right? They have all these clips of all these fans, and I swear it's literally like the exact same thing as like Blackpink's comment section on their YouTube. But there are definitely some moments where they went a little over the deep end and it almost felt like they were parodying it, which is weird because I feel like it's garnered so much attention from the K-pop community and K-pop fans across the world, and even K-pop idols, like actual artists, have like talked about how much they like the movie. Apparently there's so much support for this movie from the K-pop industry, right? It's just a little weird to think that they're kind of like poking fun at it at times. It almost feels like Deadpool. If I had to rate the movie, I'd probably give it like a 7. What I will say about the music though that I didn't really like is it definitely felt like songs that were written by Koreans in English. There's just like a missing layer of nuance to it. I know I sound so stingy. I sound so pretentious right now, bro, saying, why does K-pop Demon Hunters not have deeper meaning to the lyrics? I don't know. It's not going to be the type of music that I personally listen to. That being said, it is playing all over my house because my family really enjoyed it. So I'm probably going to get super sick of it, but for now, it's cool. I don't mind it. Overall, yeah, I would say I recommend it, to anyone that is interested in K-pop or even not, to be honest. I think it does a good job at kind of commodifying it and simplifying it in a way that anyone could kind of understand. Gang, believe it or not, we are actually already almost done with 2025. That means we're like halfway through the decade. That's insane. The pandemic feels like yesterday. Turns out it was actually 5 years ago. Anyways, the reason I bring this up is I asked my community yesterday what they thought the best album of the 2020s was so far. We got a bunch of different submissions, a bunch of different responses. We're going to read through them all and just talk about it. Obviously music is subjective, so it's just going to be discussion. We're not ranking in any of them. We're not declaring one album to rule them all. But low-key, I'm probably going to do that because it's not a contest, but it is a contest, all right? It's subjective, but I'm always right. Sophie My 5JW says Older, in parentheses, and Wiser, by Lizzie McAlpine. Beautiful instruments and gut-wrenching lyrics. Love, love, love her music, and especially this album. I have heard Older is pretty good. Is it better than 5 Seconds Flat though? I feel like 5 Seconds Flat created more of a stir for her, right? And like put her on the map a little bit more. And Older was a little bit of a plateau as far as like numbers go. That's my assumption. I don't really know. I have listened to some of the songs off of Older. I thought they were really nice. I think she's got a nice, kind of pop, kind of indie sound. Very soft, delicate voice, and some pretty good lyricism, if you ask me, especially for someone her age. At August Moments says Folklore or Mayhem for me. Ooh, interesting. Dude. That's crazy. Folklore came out in this decade. I mean, I wasn't a Swiftie around then, but still. I would definitely go as far as to say that Folklore is Taylor's best album that she's released this decade, if we're not including the Taylor's versions. I still think Folklore is such a great album. I love it. I think it's one of her best. Mainly because I think it stands out in her discography because she's trying something new. So in the grand scheme of things, she'll probably release 10 more Tortured Poets Department-esque albums, right? But you don't get there without the dramatic shift in her sound that you get from Folklore. Kind of similar to 1989 as far as just being like a cornerstone album for her, setting a new status quo moving forward. And like you could kind of see the aftershock of that album release throughout the rest of her career. I'm telling you, the lyrics on that and just like some of like the cute little melodies that are like really catchy and light and airy. Fire, dude. I gotta listen to Folklore again. I missed that album, to be honest. And Mayhem, I haven't listened to. I was in the process of doing a Lady Gaga album deep dive, like with all of them, but things have kind of stood in the way of that because the truth is those every album videos take so much time, and if I'm trying to keep a weekly schedule of uploading, I don't have the time for it, at least not right now. I literally started making that video in like April, I think. So it's been a while, but it's still in the works. I gotta say, I listened to the first one, Fame Monster. That's a banger. That's a heater, bro. Oh my God, I love that album. Maja, Folklore, let's see what you said. I don't know if it's the best, but Folklore is definitely my favorite. Banger. I definitely think Folklore might be up there for me too. I'm not going to try and be objective and say which album I think was most influential or which album I think saw the most monetary success or all that BS, right? I'm thinking for me personally, all my favorite albums that came out in this decade so far, I think Folklore is definitely up there. Probably top 5. Bay Winged says Unreal Unearth by Hozier. Would be Wasteland Baby, but that's 2019. Haha. Unreal Unearth is so good though. Unreal Unearth, honestly, I haven't listened to, I don't think. Have I? I have listened to some of Hozier's stuff, but I don't think I listened to that one. I just know it as the Take My Whiskey Need. And it's the album cover of like the mouth in the dirt with the flowers. So I'll take your word on it, but I can't tell you. I got a lot of comments saying The Forever Story by JID, by Jid. How do you say that? Is it Jid or JID? I'm going to go with Jid because I just feel like that's funner to say than JID, but I have heard amazing things about that album. I've heard that's one of the best modern hip-hop albums of all time. Definitely got to tap into that. But I got to finish the Kendrick series first. The thing with the hip-hop stuff is like, I want to be very linear and like particular with how I dive into it because it is so new to me. So even though this Kendrick series has taken 10 million years, right? We're going to do the Kendrick series. Then we'll probably do something like Travis Scott. Something a little bit lighter. Maybe we'll dive into some of the Drake albums. Then we could start really digging into the good modern stuff. Then maybe we'll go back. Maybe we'll go back to like Biggie and Tupac and NWA maybe and Wu-Tang Clan. I don't know. Probably not. At least not on that channel. If we go that far back, I might need to make a separate hip hop channel because I don't know if the Swifties will, I don't know if they'll enjoy that stuff. I don't know if they'll be able to handle it, to be honest. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'll definitely check out JID. He's on the list for sure. Ian's489 says it's between Mr. Morale, Forever Story, and Low Key Simbi. Mr. Morale, I listened to once when it came out. The night it came out, actually, I listened to it with my friends. And I was like, whoa, this is so crazy, dude. But I honestly don't remember anything about it. Because the truth is, once I started making videos, I like started looking at music differently, right? So like, it's kind of similar with how I look at movies, right? Like when you're younger and you watch movies, you're kind of just following along the plot. And if something's fun, you just like it because it's fun, right? But as I've gotten older and kind of become more particular, and also probably as a result of me like paying more attention to movie reviews and like the online discourse surrounding movies, I've become a little more particular with how I watch a movie. And it's kind of like second nature to me. I'm working on a Fantastic Four review right now that I think is pretty solid. And I didn't even go into the movie planning out like writing notes on anything, right? It was quite literally me just walking into the movie, and as I was watching the movie, all my critiques of it were like in my head, and that's like part of the experience for me now. The same applies to music. I think ever since I've chosen to look at albums and music through that type of lens, it's just second nature to me. So in some ways it's hard for me to enjoy, but in other ways it makes it so much more enjoyable. Like, it's just a different type of enjoyment. You know what I mean? So Mr. Morale, the only time I listened to it was pre-music reviewer Jason. So I'm looking forward to getting to that one in the series. That's probably going to be after Damn, which is the one I'm working on right now. And I don't know who Simbi is, but that's a cool name. Breathin4232 says, my AOTD, album of the decade, Eternal Sunshine, because it has True Story, We Can't Be Friends, Twilight Zone, and Warm on one album. You're so right. You're so right. On one album is crazy. But unfortunately, I'm not going to give it to it. I love Eternal Sunshine with all my heart, bro. I think it's still probably my favorite Ariana album, but I think it's kind of a bias. All right, because yeah, there's some great bangers, but lyrically, it's like kind of no. I cannot believe I just said that, bro. But it's true. I hate to say it's true, okay? Ariana's my favorite artist of all time, low key. But I might have to say, I don't think she has a single 10. Like Eternal Sunshine is probably a 9.5 because I love so much about that album, but the lyrics are just kind of sometimes. Play Me Like Atari is not a bar. As you know, I hate that line. And there's also some that are like low-key misses, bro. Ordinary Things is like a fine song. True Story has some fun moments, but I think as a whole, it's kind of flat. I have grown a lot on Yes And. I think Yes And is a banger. It breaks my heart, dude. Because Eternal Sunshine was like low-key my favorite album from last year. But low-key, it wasn't. Because my favorite album from last year was actually the one that the Panda YYY says is their favorite album of the decade. Chromacopia, probably, in my opinion. Yeah, I would have to agree. Chromacopia was definitely my album of the year last year. I think it's definitely also up there for me for like top 5 albums of this decade. And that's funny to say because I feel like I'm so late to this, right? Because we're talking album of the decade so far. But it's really, for me, it's really album of 2023 on because that's when I started listening to albums. So I don't really know if I could weigh in on this in the same way, but here I am doing it. Dinosaur Gamer 8791 says After Hours by The Weeknd. That's another one that's up there for me. 100%. 100% love that album so much. I think it's The Weeknd's best album, probably. I did really like Hurry Up Tomorrow. I do think his trilogy of albums is, in my opinion, when he kind of became like a master at his craft. You know what I mean? I think all the previous ones, yeah, Starboy is a really great concept album. Beauty Behind the Madness has some bangers. Even Kissland, I feel like every time I've gone back and listened to it, I've liked more. They all kind of just feel like stepping stones. And then After Hours feels like the first album where you're like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. And it feels like almost effortless to him. And Hurry Up Tomorrow, like all the great songs that came out of that album, that really just felt like he did not need to try. You know what I mean? Like he kind of had this formula down and he just like knew all the beats to hit to make a banger. The opening track, Wake Me Up. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. But yeah, I'd still say After Hours is my favorite The Weeknd album and definitely makes my top 5 albums of the decade. Caitlin M. Banks says Sour period, no questions asked. I'm gonna ask some questions though because low key, I think Guts is a better album. I don't really know though. They're different in my head, which is crazy because I know a big, I guess, criticism of Guts is that it's kind of the same thing as Sour, like her doing all the same tricks. But I think while Guts expands upon what Sour does, right? That was my whole point in my main review. I think it really just expands on the same kind of shtick, we'll say, that Olivia does in Sour. Maturifies it a little bit and expands upon it. Sour is still that new thing. You know, I still think it was this new concept for an album that really paved the way for a lot of younger pop girl artists now, in a similar way that Brat did, right? But from that span in between Sour and Brat, we're getting so many singer-songwriter vibes, singing about their exes, adding those little Easter eggs about it too. That was technically like a Taylor Swift thing, but I think Olivia Rodrigo is the one that showed that you could commodify it. So yeah, I definitely see the argument for Sour. Honestly, I go back and forth between Sour and Guts all the time. Olivia, when's the new album coming out, bro? What's taking so long? Come on. Jordan Duprel, hopefully I'm saying that right, says Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa. Another album that I have not listened to other than Levitating. Specifically the DaBaby version because I love DaBaby. DaBaby is such a bad rapper that he's amazing, okay? I'll definitely make a video on it. I have the perfect jacket for when I finally do that video. That's like this like retro race car-y type vibe. Oh my God. I'm so excited. That's one of my favorite parts of making videos is like trying to find fits that match. Obviously, sometimes it'll be simple. Like I'll just wear merch, but other times I'll like really go all out. It adds another layer to the videos that I really enjoy. So I'm excited to film that Future Nostalgia video. Hopefully sometime this year because I really want to listen to that album. Coven of CXNT. I'm going to assume that CXNT is meant to be like the CUNT word, but I'm not going to say it because I'm a man. And it is demeaning to women, and I'm a feminist, obviously. They say Renaissance by Beyonce. Interesting take. I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to say Cowboy Carter is better than Renaissance. That's, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, I like that album more. I think the songwriting on it was more interesting. It was just conceptually more interesting, too. But maybe I need to re-listen to Renaissance. I don't know. It could just be because, like, Cuff It. Like, I kind of hate that song because it's just played everywhere when it came out. Call Me If You Get Lost. Interesting. Circles by Mac Miller. I definitely want to revisit that. I would love to do Swimming as well. Like maybe the little Mac Miller series, you know? Because I do like a lot of his songs. I love his vibe. And I love his verse on Problem. Yeah, that's the one that he's on. No, not Problem. Wait, what is it? Oh, The Way. I'm so stupid, bro. Please never quiz me on Ariana Grande songs. I'm washed. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, thank you to everyone that submitted their little comments on that post. I'm gonna keep doing that with other topics, so be on the lookout for that on the main channel. I think all of my favorite albums of the decade were also here. It seems like you guys and me have very similar music taste, which is nice. I feel closer to you guys. It's really cool. And I'll close this segment by saying I think my top 5 of the decade were probably Chromacopia, Sour Guts interchangeable, After Hours, Folklore. I mean, I guess Eternal Sunshine can take that 5th spot. Yeah, just because it's like my favorite album from my favorite artist. Like that feels like it should be one of my favorite albums of the decade. But if I were to rank them, oh shoot, I don't think I could do that. I'm probably gonna go Fall. Wow. Okay. This hurts my soul. This hurts everything in my life. But I'm gonna put Eternal Sunshine at 5. Oh, man, that's really painful because I love Ariana so much. And that deluxe. Oh, if we're including the deluxe too. Oh shoot. But yeah, Eternal Sunshine is gonna be number 5. Number 4, I'm probably gonna go Sour. Number 3, Chromacopia. Number 2, Folklore. Number 1, After Hours. I might swap out Chromacopia and Folklore, but I think After Hours might be my number 1. I haven't listened to it in like a couple months, so I'm not gonna lie. I just remember like loving it and feeling like a freaking spiritual connection to it the first time I listened to it, and just like I had this phase where it was all I listened to, you know, when I did that first weekend video. So love that album for sure skis. Music release radar. We had a few singles drop this past week. We're gonna talk about some of them. Snow White by Leve was a really nice, pretty song. Got me so hyped for this album. It's actually, I don't know if she's dropped other singles, but it's the first single off the album that I've listened to. I don't really keep tabs on New Music Friday as much as I should, if I'm being honest. Because a lot of times it's like, if it's like an artist that I'm like kind of interested in, but not like really interested, I will usually just like wait until their album and just have all the songs be new to me, right? I honestly still have never played Manchild on Spotify. Like I've never listened to it. I just hear it on TikTok and like Instagram and stuff. But yeah, I think Snow White was a really pretty song because it starts off kind of feeling like this indie acoustic vibe, very different from Leve, and then it slowly builds into that more orchestral sound that she's known for, right? That makes me happy because when the song started, I thought she was going to go more indie with it, and I was not really feeling it because I think that her sound is so unique in the pop sphere that she should just keep doing it. And it also sounds great, and it like matches her voice, so she should just keep doing it. But I think starting with that indie intro and then slowly building on it was just a nice progression to the song, and also just a nice way to change things up a little bit. If this album that we're getting takes a little more indie vibes, you know, a little maybe like folky, acoustic-y type sounds, but still keeps that bass like this grand orchestral arrangements, I would be very happy. I'd be a happy camper. I'm so hyped for that album. I'm not gonna lie. A Little More by Ed Sheeran dropped, which is like his 10 millionth single for this one album. Just dropped the album, bro. I feel like he's been promoting this album since like May. Yeah, I literally talked about it in my May episode. What I did like is it's probably his first song in 10 bajillion years that does not like lead with an acoustic guitar. It was kind of nice. It was like a little bass. But just dropped the freaking album already, dude. Like I don't really care anymore. I'm not gonna lie, because you already like got me a little hyped, and then you like dragged it out by releasing 10 million singles. I feel like the album's already out basically, but it's not coming out until September. I'm still gonna listen to it. I don't know why I'm complaining. Keshi dropped a new single called Want You. It's spelled really weird. It's Want CHU. Like it's almost like you're meeting someone and their name is Want Chu. You know, she's like Chinese or something. That song is actually really nice. As much as I like kind of have a love-hate relationship with Keshi's music, I have to admit, like his sound, his vibe is really nice. It's really like satisfying and soothing and fun. The thing that I don't like about Keshi's music is that it's really just like the fan base. I'm not gonna lie. All like Kevin Ewans and ABGs and like that vibe, that archetype of Asian is just not for me. But I can respect Game when I see Game. This song was great. And it's gonna get the award for the Music Friday Award. It wins the it wins Music Friday. That's what we're gonna call it. This guy won Music Friday. Sabrina, I wish you would drop another single. It's too late now because the album's coming out in like 3 weeks, but you should have dropped one like last week of July. Oh my God. Make it one of the pop bang. I know there's gonna be one pop banger on there that I'm like, I wish I had this throughout the summer. So we could have had a song of the summer. And lastly, my personal song of the week is Put You On by Coco Jones. I've been on a bit of an R&B kick lately. I love the really simple beat here. I think she's got some great vocals. Coco Jones has so much swag too. Have you seen the live performance of Put You On that she does where she goes, I put you on? 10? Oh my god. Top 10 hottest things any person can do is 100%. See, like I probably gained 5 points just by doing that. Not that I had 5. No, I definitely have 5 points to gain, but you know what I mean. And I think I want to be starting a Song of the Week playlist on Spotify where every episode of the Amplifier that I release, I'll have a new Song of the Week that we throw in the playlist, and it's just gonna be a nice list of songs that I enjoy. And that is gonna wrap up today's episode. No off the record today because I don't really have anything else to say about like my personal life. So comment down below some of your thoughts. Be sure to follow on Spotify again. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I will see you guys hopefully next week. No, I'm not gonna. I always say hopefully next week. I always end off all my YouTube videos saying hopefully next week, and then I have an out because I didn't say I'm gonna see you guys next week. I said hopefully I'll see you next week if all goes to plan. But I'm just gonna say I'll see you guys next week so that I force myself to be diligent with this upload schedule. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.